trying to gather my thoughts. Howdy. Howdy, guys. How's it hanging? How's your quarantine been? Has it been kind of, as insane as mine has been? Everybody's still on lockdown, right? Yeah. I have a video for you. Something that I probably should, talk about on my channel, given the nature of my little corner of the internet. Something that I most likely would have ended up talking about eventually if it had come up. I had somebody ask me yesterday, actually, what my thoughts were on transgender women in sports. Not even just transgender women, just transgender people in sports. And I do have an opinion on it. Some people aren't gonna like it, but some shit's just gotta get said. Not everybody has to agree with me, and that's fine. For everybody who's new to my channel, I am a female to male to female detransitioner, which means that I was born a biological female, and then I transitioned to become a trans man, because I, honest to God, thought that that was the right decision for me at the time, and I basically went on hormones. I fully transitioned for about 2 years, little less, before I realized that that was the worst decision I could have made, and that I am not transgender, after all, once I got my head out of my ass, and then I detransitioned. And it's been, oh boy, I don't know, like 6 months or so since I've detransitioned. I think, guesstimating, maybe a little less. It hasn't been that long, and here I am now. Yeah. And I make YouTube videos about it, because apparently people like to listen to what I blabber about. But, yeah. Transgender athletes. My thoughts. I mean, I have an opinion on it. It's not, like I said, it might not be the popular opinion, but I'm gonna say it anyways, because why the hell not, I really, honest to God, don't care. Come at me. But what I have seen on the internet lately has been videos of, and we're talking Olympic level sports here. We're not talking about high school, any of that jazz. We're talking about like the top level athletes. And there's been videos of women weightlifting champions, track and field, and pretty much in almost all aspects of transgender women who had spent a majority of their life as a biological male, living as a man, and then they transition to become a female, a woman, and then they play sports in women's sports. And a lot of people are crying outrage. Some people are defending them and saying it's equal. We're keeping it equal. And is it fair? No. Obviously, it's not fair. Should all transgender people be banned from playing sports? No. I think it should be taken on a case-by-case basis. Maybe there should be like a little board that should review and see what percentage of your advantage is, and then go from there. I mean, it's obviously fucking not fair. I mean, somebody who had spent 30 years of their life living as a man and then goes to compete in a women's weightlifting championship and crushes records, obviously that's not fair. You have an advantage. You should be ashamed of yourself for playing at that level, because that is not sportsmanlike. I mean, you gotta know. And the people who say that, oh, that's fair, women are just as capable as doing that stuff as men are, man, miss me with that bullshit, man. I'm not talking about whether or not women can, okay? Sports are separated not by gender, but by biological sex, and they're separated by biological sex for a reason. So this shit doesn't happen. And by you saying and mixing it with transgender athletes and everything like that, saying, oh, it's fair, it's like, why don't we just, if they don't have an advantage, right? If being biologically male doesn't affect their advantage whatsoever, and it's still perfectly fair, then what the hell is the point in us separating men and women's sports at all? Let's just completely mix the two. Let's let everybody play against everybody. No separation, just one sport. It's not men's tennis or women's tennis, it's just tennis. Obviously fucking not, right? Because that's not fair. It's just, people are so damn obsessed these days about doing what's equal and making everybody happy and being so afraid to say something controversial because you're gonna piss somebody off and you're gonna offend a certain group of people. Well, maybe those group of people are a little bit of kind of snowflakes and some shit just gotta get said. Alright? So, certain people competing in certain sports is not fair. And I think what a lot of people these days, a lot of people just do not understand that fair does not always mean equal. And equal does not always mean fair. Okay, something can be equal, as in sports, but that does not make it fair. Okay, not fair to the majority. And guess what? Sports isn't fair. I mean, life isn't fair. Lots of things aren't fair. Just because you are... Please. Just... I feel like we all, as a whole, just need to pull our heads out of our asses and realize what fucking idiots we're being. I mean, why is this even a topic of discussion? I mean, it's like, really, do I honestly need to make this video? Probably not. I mean, but I'm going to anyways, so... And I know some people say it's like, oh, well, it's fair, and what people don't understand is just because, specifically because sports are separated by biological gender, or biological sex, and not gender, does not mean that if I tell a transgender woman who spent 30 years of her life as a man and has a very distinct advantage, say in whatever sport she wants to play, if I tell her that she can't play at an Olympic level at that sport because it's not fair, it's not sportsmanlike, that does not mean that I'm invalidating your existence. That doesn't mean that I'm saying you're not a woman. It's not the same thing, because sex and gender are not the same thing, okay? Even when I was a trans guy, yeah, I identified my gender as a guy, but my biological sex would have always been a woman, because it's just the chromosomes, bro. You can't change your chromosomes. That doesn't mean that at the time I thought I was any less of a guy, but it's just science. It's just biology, all right? And sports isn't fair. Okay, it's not. You gotta grow up. You gotta get used to it, alright? Some things in life ain't fair. You can't please everybody. And the majority of the majority of athletes, at least at an Olympic level, are not transgender. That's not the norm. That's not the majority there. So, screwing, essentially, everybody else over, making everybody else cater to just a few people... I mean, this isn't like society or something. I mean, sports is not... It's not fair. And that's fine. It's not supposed to be fair. Okay? It's competitive sport. And you have a biological advantage. So pull your head out of your ass and realize how unfair that is to people who, are competing in that sport. And, quit. But let me say that does not go for everybody. I think that honestly, in all seriousness, should be on a case-by-case basis. Because some people have been transitioning ever since they were a child, and they don't really have those biological advantages. They didn't really go through all puberty, or their developmental stages as a guy, or with all the testosterone, because some people do take hormone blockers, and some people, they don't really go through that advantage. And so that's why I think, yeah, it should be decided. It's not just a blanket statement, all transgender people can't compete. Because that's not fair either. But I'd say the majority, at least in an Olympic level, are all not fair. And that's just my thoughts on it. Yeah. Let me know if anybody disagrees with me. And and why, and how, at least I use, facts to back up my stuff. I didn't use facts in this video, I shouldn't have said that. I can use them, if you want. Debate me in the chat, or in the, comments below, if you want. Or if you agree with me, why you agree. I mean, playing sports is not a privilege. I'm sorry, it's not. I mean, that's just the way it is. You know, we as a society need to stop catering and changing everybody's fucking diapers when they get pissed off and upset or offended or triggered, or good God, the world does not revolve around you. It's not my job to make you feel better. It's nobody's job. That's your job. Make yourself feel better. If you're offended, then figure out why and quit. I've rambled enough for one video. But, yeah. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I will catch you guys in the next one.